Hello everyone, and welcome back to Tails Adventure on the Sega Game Gear. I am One Wild Sheep yet again, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to continue onwards throughout the rest of the game. And we're pretty much at the halfway point of the playthrough now, folks. Yeah, it's a 6-part LP, so we're pretty much halfway there. But to start things off, we are now going to equip a brand new anti-air missile and mine onto our submarine, because there are new areas that we want to explore in the underwater sequence area place thingy that I always forget the name of. So let's go straight off. So now using the anti-air missile, we can actually shoot upwards, which will allow us to destroy blocks that are right above us. And we'll be able to destroy enemies and mines that are also above us, which is it's all good. It's all good stuff, you know, folks. So basically, right now, if I really wanted to, I could explore all of the underwater sequence, because we basically got all we flat out need in order to explore this place fully. However, I will not be doing that, because not only can I not actually go everywhere I want to just yet, you know, there's certain areas where if I go down, I will end up dying because I don't have enough health and I don't have certain powers that make it easier for me. But I digress. Anyway, this is a mini-boss. All we need to do is just stay at the dead center of the screen and shoot our anti-air missile upwards, which it'll just decimate this ship. He's got all these ducks chucking these drum canisters down at you and trying to kill you with those drums, but you'll never get hit by them. You know, if you stay in the middle of the screen will sometimes move and push you out of the way, so you may need to readjust yourself on some occasions, but for the most part, just stay towards the center of the ship and you should be golden, and eventually the ship blows up. Eventually it'll go boom and Tails will be victorious yet again. Take that, you duckish fiends. I think they're meant to be birds. I'm not actually sure what the great Battle Kukku Army are meant to be. I think they're birds. It makes sense, because apparently, oh, by the way, this is the Knuckles icon we picked up in the last part. Yeah, it's pretty shit. But, I think it was, I heard somewhere that in the Archie comics, one of the characters that we meet much later in the franchise, called Jet the Hawk, has been reconned to be a part of this Cuckoo Army. I don't know if that's actually true, because I don't read the Archie comic book series, and the Archie comic book series isn't canon anyway. It's just, I've heard that's a thing, and if that's a thing, it's a pretty neat thing, you know, folks. But anyway, a bit of a puzzle-solving sequence by here, folks. We just need to use our Mecha Tails in order to push the spring, because there is a wooden floor right next to us. As you can see, we can't go down there. We need to use this spring to bounce on upwards and explore this brand new area. And we can actually make use of the napalm bomb to great effect in this particular area, because as you can tell, it will decimate enemies that are right above it. Even if the sprite doesn't look like it's going to hit any enemies that are right above it, it will still decimate them. It'll still do massive damage. So the napalm bomb is actually a really useful item, and we do need to use this specifically to break open certain vine type areas. And I generally like to use it against these beehives and bee enemies, because they're annoying enemy types. They're very small and can easily be missed by your standard bombs. So I advise just picking up your napalm, chucking it on the ground. The fire spread will then just burn the beehive. And when you destroy a beehive, by the way, extra speed, we need this power up. Be sure to pick this one up. This is necessary. But when you destroy the beehive, a wasp queen will pop out, and this wasp queen will come at you like the cuckoos from Legend of Zelda. It will chase after you and it will try to take you down. So you do need to be very, very careful of the wasp queen. It's a very annoying enemy type. There it is right now. So yeah, you just have to chuck bombs at it in the hopes that eventually it'll go away. So whenever you're dealing with these beehives, chuck down 2 napalms, and that should decimate everything in the area. And that's all I can say. But of course, remember previously when I said wind is your biggest enemy? That is definitely true in this particular zone. The wind will push you up, it will push you sideways, and it will push you downwards, making your platforming generally much more difficult than it needs to be. but it's not a particularly difficult or challenging stage. It's just a little bit finicky, especially considering now the platforming's really starting to set in. And I just love this zone, this entire area, just because of the platforming it makes you do. You know, you do need to manipulate the platforming in such a way that you can get through without worrying about the wind and then worrying about bottomless pits, because there are bottomless pits. Well, there's not bottomless pits, but there are pits. That if you fall into the pits, you'll have to redo and backtrack and redo areas you've already been to before, which I usually despise in these platformers, especially in this one in particular, because I find myself usually running around trying to get to where I need to go, then suddenly, oh, there's a pit, so I need to manipulate the pit in order to try and get through, and I can't simply climb up the pit because the wind will stop me. So, yeah, there's loads of pitfalls in this one that are hidden. It's never a gameplay mechanic I'm usually fond of in most games, you know, having these random pits. I hate it in Mega Man, I hate it in Castlevania, I hate it in every game that this sort of mechanic is in. So yeah, just pay attention to the floors. You can usually tell if there's a pit if the floor looks slightly off. But, yeah, that's the biggest problem you're going to have to deal with. Now, on the way out, we can actually make use of the pits in order to speedrun our way back out of this place, but, you know, for the most part, it's just still frustrating. Although, one thing I will have to mention as well, usually you want, in most of these type of games, most people will never be able to figure out, okay, am I done with this area? Am I done with each segment of the world I'm in? And, there's no item indicator, there's no item checklist that you can check in-game that tells you if you're done in a certain area. But I think the general rule of thumb is, with this game in particular, is just wait until you've found at least a Chaos Emerald or fought a boss. If you've done either one of those two things, then chances are you are done with an area and you can move on to a different location. Usually, you know, there are outsets, there are outliers and where you're not done in, even if it seems like, but for the most part, it's a general good rule of thumb I usually follow. You know, have I found the Chaos Emerald? If the answer is yes, then I am done with a particular zone. If no, then I'll continue exploring until I just physically cannot find where to go next. That's generally good. No, that's a bloody pit! See what I mean about the pits? Frustrating. Very frustrating. But that's generally a good rule of thumb I found when it comes to platforming and exploring in this particular game. But yeah, it's good fun, especially when the platforming actually really starts to kick in. It's around this point where the game's difficulty and platforming really start to kick in, and the game really tries to make Tails not overpowered with his flight by adding all these winds, and I think it's a good way to really balance out Tails' flying ability so it doesn't become overpowered. Just push wind everywhere, that way Tails can't abuse his flight powers. Anyway, what we just picked up there is the night vision goggles. We do need to use the night vision goggles in an upcoming area because otherwise a certain cave sequence will be pitch black. We will not be able to see anything without those night vision goggles, so even though in theory you can get through the game without them, it's a death wish. You need those night vision goggles if you want to play through, so be sure to pick them up, do your best, and if you're wondering what I'm doing right now, I just got a little bit confused with what I meant to do, because this area always caught me confused. I always forget to fly up there. I always think that I need to blow something up with a napalm bomb. I don't, I just need to fly. But, I always have a little brain fart in this sequence. I don't know, it's one of the more tricky levels to collect everything in, I'll be perfectly honest. It's very easy to miss something, it's very easy to go the wrong direction. Because if you go this entire area by here, very easy to miss. It's very easy to just sort of, I seem to have found a dead end, I'm gonna miss. No, you can fly through a wall that seemingly isn't a wall, so, yeah, secret area up here. Be sure to grab Mecha Tails and fly down here to grab hold of another power-up, which is the White Chaos Emerald. And of course, with that, our ring count, our extra fancy, dandy, delicious live health counter has been boosted up to 50 maximum rings. Oh, so tingly inside. But it is easy to backtrack and get out of here, like I said. Like, the thing I like about these pits is it does make it easy to backtrack, because you can just sort of walk directly forward and just keep going into these pits until you find the exit, but, You know, when you're trying to platform up, when you're trying to find the correct way to go, if you fall through the pit, you're going to be frustrating. You are going to be cursing at the game. I don't like those type of pitfalls. They're annoying. And I never like them. I never like them in any type of games they're in. They're frustrating things. But it's easy enough to find your way around, you know. It's easy enough to find your way back. Normally I would have cut past all this, but I wanted to show off, oh, you can go back by using the pitfalls, so, yeah. I assure you I wasn't lazy in editing this one, I wanted to show you. I promise you. I promise you I wanted to show you the way back. Why don't you believe me? I'm not a lazy editor. Well, I'm a lazy editor, but I'm lazy at everything else I do, so... But that's not the reason, I assure you. Although it can be quite annoying on your way back whenever you go run into enemies, because enemies do respawn after you've gone off screen, because obviously it's a Game Gear, it has limited RAM, it's not going to remember every individual mook you killed. So, the enemies will respawn. So making your way back can be a little bit tricky, but it's not that hard. It's a cool thing. But I digress. Time to head on straight back to Tails' house to get our health refill and to equip our brand new items, which basically means we're getting rid of the useless Knuckles power and putting the night vision goggles on. Because seriously, the Knuckles token, the Knuckles icon, is the worst power in the game. And I know a lot of you are probably wondering, is there going to be a Tails icon? Not Tails. Will there be words are failing me today. Will there be icons of other classic Sonic characters? Will there be icons of people we've met in the franchise up until this point? And the answer to that question, ladies and gentlemen, is yes. We will be meeting other characters, icons, we will be seeing them up. And why did the game start me off with the mines? I don't want to use them just yet. Of course, we can use the mines as well to explore areas underneath. Like, there's so many alternate pathways and areas you can go to while inside the lake by here that it's a brilliant place to just go and try and explore. You know, there's so many hidden nooks and crannies. There's so many places where you can just get confused as to where to go next, and I dig it. You know, folks, I can dig it. But anyway, as you saw as well, we also added the extra speed power onto our submarine as we went back to Tails' house previously. Now, the extra speed, basically, it allows you to move forward quicker, and it allows you to jump whenever you're in a certain area. We won't be seeing that for a while, but at least I don't think we'll be seeing it for a while. I don't know. We'll either be seeing it this part or one of the later parts, I forget. But, yeah. Anyway, if we blow up that area there, that rock formation, that leads to pretty much the end game, and in theory, we can get through there now, but I don't recommend trying to get through there right now because you will be killed. I can guarantee you will be killed, because there's loads of mines, there's loads of lasers, and these lasers will hit you for about 5 to 10 rings a pop, you know, folks. It will hurt to get through there, so we need a bit more buff. We need to get more skills, and we need to get more items before we go through that hidden pathway, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, that's just one of the areas that opens up the moment you get the mines, you know. You don't have to go down there until the end game, like I said. We will have to go down there eventually, folks, but that's for a while. Anyway, if we head on directly upwards by here, using our anti-air missile as well, when we get, I think we can use it. Yeah, we use our anti-air missile up here. There's another secret little chamber where we can collect rings. So if we're low on rings for whatever reason, low on health, we can pop up into this alcove and there's 4 rings. And you can continuously go down a screen and then go back up to the screen. And those rings will respawn, just like in the previous, I think it was the previous part, in the cave where the 4 rings respawned. It's basically the exact same thing there. So, you know, if you're low on rings, that's a handy place to go. And I advise grabbing the anti-air missile just to get through here with all the mines, because there's loads of mines will be dropped on your head. However, I find this area a little bit finicky, because some reason, whenever I shoot the mines with my missiles, sometimes the mines will explode, and even though it doesn't look like I'm being hit, I will still get hit by the mine explosion, even though it doesn't seem like struggle to get through that sequence without getting hurt. It's frustrating and watch out for these enemies. By here they shit on you. They're very annoying mooks. Just a good way to deal with them is sort of yeah, Lake Crystal. We do need a speed booster now. Okay. So it's been a while since I recorded this. But those enemies that shit on you, basically you need to wait for a few seconds. They'll crap out whatever they're throwing, and just wait for that to go past, and then you can go forward. It's easy enough to dodge those mooks. But this is one of the hardest areas in the game, ladies and gentlemen, Lake Crystal, where we need the speed booster. Now the speed booster will make this sort of noise, and whenever the noise reaches maximum noise, whenever it makes highest pitch, press a button and you will jump. And basically, the higher the pitch the booster's at, when you push the button, the higher you will jump. So you need to manipulate this to get through this area. This is probably the hardest area in the game to get through, because you have to deal with all these logs coming from the right of the screen. You have to deal with ducks coming in from the right of the screen, riding said logs who are just trying to be mean and stop your progress. You have to do tricky platforming up waterfalls and whatnot, and it's really frustrating, it's really precise, and it is very, very easy to die. I'm shocked I managed to do this in one take, because it normally takes me like 5 to 6 attempts to get through here, but no, this time I got lucky and it took me one attempt to get through this entire sequence, which I'm content about, I'm happy about. But yeah, you just keep continuously going forward, keep jumping whenever you see logs, keep jumping whenever you see waterfalls, and be careful of the birds that like to shit on you, because they're not cool. They're not cool. I mean, have you ever tried washing that stuff off a submarine? It's not easy, ladies and gentlemen. And also, when you get to this final stretch back here, I do recommend just grabbing the Vulcan cannon and jumping and shooting. And basically, whenever you jump, you can shoot enemies, because enemies are going to start riding logs a lot more, and just jump and shoot. Just jump and shoot. Just play like a Mega Man game. Jump and shoot, and eventually you'll make it to the end, hopefully, if you don't die. I mean, I had 50 rings. Every time you get hit, you lose 5 rings. I'm on 5 health right now, you know, folks. It is ridiculously easy to die. But, I digress. That is it for this part, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you all for watching. We're just going to go Tails' house and heal. And I'll catch you all next time when we continue exploring Poly Mountain number 2. So thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Don't be sheepish, people. And I'll catch you all then. Bye!